Mrs. Mandić, Mrs. Mandić, the operation is over.
Gospođo Mandić, operacija je gotova.
Mrs. Mandić, you're going to be all right. The operation was a success.
Operacija je uspjela, bit će sve u redu.
Does she understand?
Yes, she said thank you.
Good. All right. I'll see you outside with the relatives, Vera.
Okay. Gospođo Mandić.
Hi.
Dobar dan.
Well, the operation's over.
Operacija je prošla.
And your mother had a blood clot on the brain.
Vaša majka je imala ugušanu krv na mozgu.
But we've been able to take it away.
Ali su uspjeli da ju odstrane.
And we expect that she's going to make quite a good recovery.
I oni očekuju da će sve biti dobro i da će je pozdraviti.
All right. She's just resting now, but you'll be able to go up and see her very soon.
Vera Crvenkovic, healthcare interpreter for the Health Commission of New South Wales, spends long days and sometimes long nights here in hospitals in Camperdown. Her sympathy and her understanding of the Slavic people and their languages makes Vera an important member of the team.
How was your day?
It's quite difficult.
Why?
Well, I had some difficult cases, and I was worried that this girl will go home without being enough supported, because they told her that her husband has a cancer, and she reacted quite badly to it.
Thanks. How did someone who started out as a young dancer in Croatia end up being an interpreter in an Australian hospital?
It's very unusual, isn't it? I was born in Osijek. Osijek is a town in northern Croatia. My father was a professor. He was professor of French and German. And my mother had a good education in music. And I remember my childhood being quite happy, and my home was always filled with music and song. When I left my high school, I went to Zagreb to enroll to university, and I became a medical student. But at the same time, I got involved with folkloric, which became my main interest. Dancing was also an opportunity to meet a lot of young people, to mix socially, and to make good friends and sometimes even lasting relationships. I met John on one of these rehearsals, and we soon became involved romantically. And also we got so enthusiastic about this dancing and singing that we put a secondary importance to our studies. At one point, my mother told me, you have to make up your mind about him. Just drop him or continue. But I couldn't make up my mind at that point, and well, I cried a little bit, and then I said, I can't leave him because I love him.
And she still loves me after all those 25 years. Even my mother-in-law loves me. I remember the party when we were engaged, when I came to Osijek with a friend of mine, you know, and it was big trouble over there that time.
Each year, the folkloric ensemble from the University of Zagreb made at least one major trip into Western Europe. Vera and John had plenty of time to observe life in the West, and thought that they preferred it to the somewhat depressing lifestyle that characterized post-war Croatia. In 1957, they decided to defect to West Germany, where Vera's mother was then living.
Ovaj nas iza gleda, ću otići. Hoćete mi oprostiti, malo ne trebamo otići. ješćemo posle, ali još 4 sata.
Oprostite, ali moram ići.
Brže sam, pazi.
Oh, if I look 25 years ago, back, I will say that was action of two people deeply in love and looking for new adventures in the life, and that was maybe a little bit crazy.
John felt terrible for years afterwards, as he had not even bid his parents farewell. He had not completed his studies either, so with no money, no qualifications, no languages and no dance group, they found themselves loose in the West. The first thing they did was to get married.
Oh, now our wedding day, we didn't have any money, so we just had a small bottle of wine to celebrate our wedding, and a simple meal, small hotel or motel room, and that was all.
A couple of days after the wedding, we have to move to the refugee camp, and this part of my life I wished if I can forget. The place was very bad and very depressing. And
they lived in the camp for 2 years, and there Vera gave birth to their first son, Tom.
When I came to Australia, I was busy giving birth to my daughters Teresa and Nives and raising up my 3 kids. And also in the meantime, I was doing some other things like helping the family in financial problems too, by doing some odd jobs.
What kind of work did you do?
I was doing manicuring and helping in a shop, in a chemist shop, like an assistant. And also I was involved in interpreting.
In 1977, Vera was appointed as one of 12 interpreters to cover all communities in Sydney's hospitals. She used to race frantically from one end of the city to the other, assisting the dozens of migrants requiring health care. Today, there are around 100 interpreters employed by the Health Commission.
Jako stara nošnja I ovo bi trebalo više čuvati, paziti, to treba zakriti.
Music and dance has always played an important part in Vera Crvenkovic's life. In Australia, she and her husband John founded and still lead the Koleda Croatian folkloric ensemble.
Četiri.
It is always a great pleasure when the Koleda group play for their own countrymen in Croatian clubs here in Sydney and elsewhere in Australia, their adoptive land. This year, John and Vera Crvenkovic take their large group of performers back to their homeland, Croatia, to perform in festivals there.
Hello, can you have a seat? Well, I'm afraid we've got some bad news for you.
Doktor hoće da vam kaže da nema baš najbolje vijesti za vas.
I šta to znači?
What does it mean?
We've done the tests on your husband that I explained to you and they've proved positive.
Oni testovi o kojima vam doktor već prije govorio su pozitivni.
Šta će sada?
What now?
Mora.
Well, it means that he has a tumour and he'll probably need an operation.
It's very depressing to tell people the bad news. Nobody likes to hear bad news about their closest relatives or about themselves. People rely on me. Sometimes it's difficult to decide should I translate or interpret what some other person says to the patient, because I belong to the same culture. I actually do read their minds sometimes because we understand each other so well, and I go to more precisely explaining what's going on.
Vera's work in the hospital has sadness, but it has great happiness too, like sharing the joys and wonderings of a mother-to-be.
Izgledate malo uznemirani, nervozni.
Strašno sam nervozna, prvo dijete i tako da sam zaista strašno nervozna.
Mrs. Vitovic, can you tell me when was your last menstrual period?
Gospođo Vidović, kada je bila vaša zadnja menstruacija?
Negdje oko 20. ožujka.
Around the 20th of March.
Right. That will make you roughly about 12 weeks pregnant.
Znači da bi mogli biti oko jedno 12 tjedana u drugom stanju.
You look a little bit worried. You don't have to worry.
Izgledate nekako zabrinuti, ali nije potrebno da budete zabrinuti.
Prvo mi je dijete, pa se ne znam šta će se još.
She's a little bit because it's a first child.
Right, sure.
I share my life with my family, my husband and my children, and with my work, and also with my folkloric group, dancing, music and song. It's a very busy life, but a very happy one.